intensity, right? During college also I talked about little bit humility that I went through, that I couldn't speak English, because imagine that whole education that's delivered to you in Odia medium, right? So when you can write really well, but you cannot speak well. That's not in your tendency. And during my college, I when those folks who were criticizing me, I actually converted that as a strength. They didn't let me even off campus or campus interviews for those four, because there was hard cutoff criteria. You need to have minimum 65% throughout your career. Some internship in Kalyani breaks, which I was hardly getting 1250 or 1500 rupees for a few months to kind of get that practical exposure, but that was not enough.
Hi all, welcome to our episode 2 of Tushar's Not So Famous Story. So Tushar, we had discussed about your childhood, the struggles in childhood, you coming out of the shell to transform yourself to take on more courage, and as you came to engineering, and like how your mom had her share of challenges in selling off something that she actually, the only asset that she had for you to get into engineering. And we know that you had enough struggles in engineering and in your professional career as well, because we discussed earlier. But I would want the audience to also know that, because getting into Google from where you were is a really difficult task. And when I heard your story, I wanted to cover this in our Not So Famous Story.
Yes.
The reason being how you transformed yourself from what you were to what you are right now is inspiration at this age. So
True.
why don't we dive deep into engineering, like how it started, like coming 13 hours, like in Odisha 13 hours traveling is something close to 600-700 kilometers.
Yes.
So how it started off, how did you land here, what was your engineering career like, placements, and let's go deep into that.
Absolutely. So before I explain that, I want to deep dive a little bit on my character. What was my character evolving to that time, right? So I talked to you about I was very courageous. I could throw myself into any problem and deal with it. And also I wanted to experience all new different things, right? I wanted to have challenges in my life. It's not like you give me something that's very settled, go there, attend this class, do this, do that. If everything is written in the store in something very scripted, I'm not doing it, right? During college also I talked about little bit humility that I went through, that I couldn't speak English, because imagine that whole education that's delivered to you in Odia medium, right? So when you can write really well, but you cannot speak well. That's not in your tendency. And during my college, I when those folks who were criticizing me, I actually converted that as a strength. It didn't make me go and sit in a corner and cry. I basically started pivoting my head that, oh, they are the immediate coaches of me, right? Let's not be humiliated. And I made very good friends with my friends, saying that, oh wow, you have been all fortunate. I want to be like you. I want to speak good English. Can you teach me? I gave them the liberty to kind of come and correct me every time, and be better at English. So that's how I think I kind of invite the problem and solve it and be better at it. There is never, if there is a problem that humiliates me, I am not stepping back.
Awesome.
Not at all stepping back. So it goes back to the career, the education front. My mom managed to sell land, and it was a ceremonial effort, right? So our entire family, even my very young brother and sister, we hired a car and everybody went and dropped me in the college, right?
How many people were there in total?
And how many people, my grandmother also kind of joined. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of us.
Wow. That's quite
good. Including a driver in ambassador cars, we manage it, right? Somebody sits on the lap, my younger brother, etc. So that's how it happens. So it was a young college. It was we are 4th or 5th batch, if I remember correctly. And the hostel was under construction, so I was admitted in the hostel. The college was beautifully placed. It's a huge campus. I don't know, maybe 30-40 acres, etc. It's within a valley. It's a lot of mountains, etc. But that valley and other stuff.
Was it southern part of Odisha?
It is, yeah. It is like southern part of Odisha. It's very close to Andhra Pradesh. Basically, the Andhra border was like another 10-20 kilometers. So there's less of Odisha influence, more of Andhra influence there. The food, the culture, everything.
It would be a Naxalite area. It
was a Naxalite area. You see those mountains. We were asked not to cross behind some stuff, because there might be camps and you might be killed. So you shouldn't go that side. So, but for us, like the college and all, I think they used to pay them and all those things.
So this is close to that area called Gunpur and all of those.
Exactly, Parlakundi. The place was Parlakundi. So the college, same as JITM, is part of Biju Patnaik Technical University in Odisha, which is a very reputed university. And I got admitted to my favorite branch, which was electronics and instrumentation. So the rituals was over. So we were, my family dropped me in the engineering college. I got admitted to my hostel with my roommate. We checked in, and the day starts. When my first 8 semesters in engineering, right, I was overconfident again, right, saying that, oh, I had the caliber, I grasped anything and I would do anything very easily, right. First semester exams happened. I was very confident, like everything is very good, and I got like 4 or 5 backlogs when it came.
Shit.
I was like, what the heck,
That's a good number.
what would happen? And that time, it was not digitalized, right? So all the mark sheets and all will go home in the post office.
Oh, they used to send it.
Yeah,
by
because it was
post to
not
home?
digital, right?
Oh,
So there's
man.
nothing, there's no phone. I didn't have a mobile phone or anything. We used to have a home phone. So the mark sheets will typically go in an, a postcard or in that enveloped with few stamps that will go into home. So I realized that my mom has spent a lot of money, and this kind of backlog going in, my father is going to say that, why did you invest this money? This you shouldn't have. This is the biggest mistake of the life. And I didn't know what to do. So, and it takes some time to reach the mark sheets back home. So I, during that time, it was a holiday, I was there, and I kind of bribed the post office man not to give the post card when it comes, preserve it for me, and I will come and collect it, and then I will paint the rosy picture at home that everything is fantastic, I'm doing really well. But again, second semester I had a few backlogs, and that time the postman got changed, because whatever the money I gave, that landed in the house, and I was like pleasant surprised, and I get calls into my hostel, that the desk phones,
Yeah,
right?
we
So the
had
fixed
that
phones.
phone was there, right? Yeah.
Then when are you coming home? I said, yeah, the summer vacations are starting, and like, okay. And I got full of rant that time, and but I was like enjoying it. That letter landed in home, and it was a sheer disappointment for my mom. Of course, my father ranted quite a lot, but that was a sheer disappointment when my relatives and everybody also knew at that point of time. And that was a pivotal time that I said that no, I've been going in the same line. Why cannot I be both courageous and strong? But at the same time, study. I am a passionate person. I can study. I am in my field that I love, and I need to do well in that. So that's where I started pivoting back. Slowly, I saved some money here and there, paid for my backlog, cleared all my backlogs. After third semester, I never had a backlog. The initial marks were very low, so I had to score really high to get into a final good score. And I continued my practical knowledge at that point of time. I am not a bookish person. I don't study. I have not read a novel. But I have read things, bits and pieces of snippets in a novel, and pick up that and kind of grow from there and make my own analogy, right? So I don't want everything to be taught to me. That is how it is, right? The things that I discover, things that I learn practically, that registers in my mind forever. So that is how in our engineering college was, that I was actually one of the good scorer when it comes to the core subject, right? And I did in my labs fantastic, because I told you in childhood I had very good understanding of how transistor, capacitor, resistors, how the electronics mechanism work and all those things. So I took that passion to do well. It was a very good college. The lectures were good, and thankful for all the great setup that was there even in a private college. So education was never bad. We had very good professors and lectures, and a competitive batch, right? So sometimes what happens, like everybody comes in from a lower back, or like not too very studious background. Everybody wants to succeed in there, so you get that energy of being a leader, where you have not started from here, you are basically started from here, you want to be here. So there is a constant churn to succeed, so you are not contented anytime. If I were the best student, I was in IIT, I would have been entitled at that point of time. I didn't have that. I didn't want that life, right? So I wanted to succeed, and many of my friends who were like really like me are doing phenomenally well in their career. They were in top positions. I'm very proud of them, because the sheer courage and ability to take decisions and learn new stuff and be there. So all of my friends are doing well.
And in engineering colleges, mostly we see like the placements is looked upon at that era also. Like we are talking about the 1998 to 2008,
2000,
these
early
kind of era.
2000s, yeah.
So we always had placements as the biggest thing that was
To get to a job.
Right?
Yeah.
So how was that in your...
So placement, in a private college, of course, these placements are not that great, right? So very fewer companies will come, and they will only take the cream of the thing. And there was a lot of off-campus or campus sort of hiring. There was big force, right? There was Satyam, Infosys, TCS and Wipro. There's four companies everybody wanted to go to. The initial base is 1,75,000. It was a phenomenal comp that point of time. Everybody used to be very proud to get one of those badges and be getting that job. But I want to remind you, in the last episode I talked about that I didn't get my first division in my intermediate, which was plus 2 second year, but less than 60%. Basically everybody denied me to even sit, even though I had 75% in my engineering.
Which meant that you cannot sit in the placements also.
I cannot put into, because they need a career 65% that time. So throughout the career, my schooling was very good marks I had. My intermediate was less than 60%. Engineering was 75%, but they didn't let me even off campus or campus interviews for those four, because there was hard cutoff criteria. So that humiliated me another time a lot.
Okay.
Because that time I pivoted back my life, and I was still a leader. I was very courageous, but I was toning down to be a different person. I still had that energy to succeed, but at that point of time, it humiliated me, because that I couldn't sit in this kind of jobs. At that point of time, I thought that, all right, that was never meant to be my destiny. I was very good at in electronics. I wanted to do a job. I want to be in a factory designing some stuff. Why am I worried about it? Let's not do it. 95% of my people in my college, my friends, came to Bangalore, and I don't do anything that everybody does. So I said, I'm not going to Bangalore. Everybody is going there. What is the fun? I'm going to go to Pune or Mumbai, and that's where the industry base is. And I'm going to start my career, because Chennai is another bias, but the language and other stuff I was not very confident about. So me and my friend, after engineering, my father very clearly said that this is where your funding ends.
Somehow, if you look, right, this framed you as a very
strong person.
Very strong person.
Very
right?
strong person.
Like,
yeah.
I can imagine that if father tells to his son, like, go start your own career, and this is exactly how it frames. Like, fine, everything stops. Now
True.
I have to do my own life, right? I have to start my own life. I want to listen to this.
Yeah,
right
so
now.
I was
quite
like,
excited.
I was like, God, whatever you do, I'm not going to take one penny from this man. Right? So, that time how we say, he's not my dad. I don't consider him to be my dad. But I think in a way he was helping me.
Absolutely.
In a way he was helping me. That humiliation helped me. And this is where I started. Like, I took few thousand. My mom and my dad gave me some money, 5,000. I took a general train and away went to Pune. And actually we didn't know anyone in Pune. Me and one of my friend, I just convinced him that come with me. We'll deal whatever it is. Somehow he agreed and he came with me. And we started landing at the Pune station. Of course, general, standing, sleeping, whatever it is, having fun. Hanging by the door, we reached there. After reaching there, the reality kicks in. We are like, where do we stay? We stay in a very small lodge for 2-3 days and started looking for a place. I know it's like a low-end place. It was a place called Kasarwadi, there's in Pune. We found a chawl type of place where, it's like very old building that could get demolished anytime. You get a room there, that is shittiest to the core, and you pay only 500 rupees per person and stay there, right? There's bathroom arrangements, which is common bathroom. Okay, I don't want to talk about it. Thank God, God has helped me. I don't have to see those kind of things. Water is limited. It comes only 1 hour. You take your bath or whatever you want to go toilet that time, you do it. If not, then you have lost that opportunity, right? During that time, we started looking for jobs. I learned about the specialization in electronics, which I was very instrumentation background. So I was very fascinated about PLCs, SCADA, DCS kind of systems. What it is exactly, basically, those are programmable controllers. If you go to a Coca-Cola factory, you see the bottles moving in this software program behind, but there's pneumatic controllers where we feed sensory data and we program it so you know when the bottle comes in, how much to fill. It's all automation that goes along with. So I wanted to go do some specialization. That time it costed me some 1,000 rupees or less than 1,000 rupees to do a course. Then I ended up in some internship in Kalyani Brakes, which I was hardly getting 1,250 or 1,500 rupees for a few months. To kind of get that practical exposure, but that was not enough. So we had to cut down on a lot of food.
So
and
your
luxury.
Monthly salary was 1,200 bucks.
1,200 to 1,500,
and of that 500 was your rent.
500 is rent. So
all in all, you had only 600-700 extra to spend.
2-3 months we adjusted. Then my friend said that I can't live my life and I'm going back. So I was alone. I was a bit emotional. I couldn't find a job in Pune that kind of pays me off. So I went back home. After 15 days, I got another friend. I convinced him, say, let's go to Bombay. So my idea was that, okay, if I don't get a job in Bombay, I'll do some modeling or something. Some TV series, I'll go into acting. Because I was very health freak. I used to exercise. I used to have a good body. I used to maintain myself, and I thought, either I'll do a job or I'll go do something and I'll earn my living. So we all went to Mumbai that time in a local train again. So me and my
So you
friend,
shifted from Pune to Mumbai.
I went back home, and then after 15 days I went to Mumbai
Oh,
again.
okay.
So Mumbai also, again, we didn't know anyone. So when we landed there, we figured out some of our seniors were there. They gave us some shelter for 2 days. Mumbai is an expensive place.
Yeah.
We used to pay 900 rupees. It was a 10 by 10 room where 9 members were sleeping on the floor. Everybody used to have a very small bed. So you basically
How?
put your suitcase.
Bunk beds, or you
No, the
just
floor,
sleep?
floor, just bed.
Wow.
So there's 9 beds in a 10 by 10. So it's like, you have 1 feet gap between the beds. And we met any sort of different. There was a god man in our room who was doing a lot of drugs kind of stuff. We had like a couple of my friends. Like we have all kind of sort of characters that we lived in that place. So again, less money, 4,000-5,000 in the pocket, and we started kind of hunting our job in Mumbai, right? But it was not good enough. I promised myself that I'm not going to take money from my father, right? And that self ego was very important for me. But job hunting takes a little longer time. And I remember that time that I was running out of my money. So one of my senior, he said that, hey, there are marketing jobs, there's sales jobs you can pick up. So it will pay your expenses until you find a good job. So I said, okay, and they asked us to invite to a sales institute, and basically they are B2C sales. And that time there was like Orange, mobile phone was picking up that time, and the SIM cards. Basically, there was a company called Orange. Orange is very particular, also popular in Europe, and that time Mumbai also is very popular.
Yeah, Hutchison Orange.
Hutchison Orange and all those things. So they said that you're going to go sell SIM cards on the streets. So one SIM card was 750 rupees. So if I sell one SIM card, 250 rupees I get. But you'll be assigned an area, you'll be randomly roaming around, you'll be catching shops, this, that, going to office building and all those things.
Quite a struggle.
Yeah,
it's a hustling job, right?
And
You have
that
to
got
hustle
me
in the
into
streets.
that got me into a next level of humiliation, because I never did sales. And I was like, I'm an engineer, why do I have to sell things, right? So, and when I went to that institute, they were like, oh, put that tie, be presentable, go there. Of course, you don't have a car or bike that time. Your reality has prevailed that time, who you are. So we're taking in local trains. You know how local trains, you need to be courageous enough to board the local train. You have to push yourself in.
I tried once.
Your shirt's press goes by the time you reach there, right? So, and you have to be like, but we didn't have a choice. We have to feed ourselves. We cannot take life as like everything vested in your life. Be a victim of your life. Do something. It's not so. I got that humiliation as a courage. I started selling SIM card for 2-3 months. That used to get us like, in a month, you'll be surprised. I was able to sell only 5-6 SIM cards, which got me like 2,000 rupees or something.
That's quite difficult. Like when you look into that era, right? Even the mobile phones were
not very popular,
costly, not popular. It was small, and you would see actually very high profile people having
and expensive.
mobile phones.
It was expensive.
Very expensive.
750 rupees initial charge is also very expensive. You'll go. I remember once I went to a full office building and talked to probably 20 people. None of them bought one SIM card. It was the deepest humiliation that day for me, saying I'm good for nothing, But it happened. Some people bought also, right? So, but during that period, I never left my vision of being into electronics field, and I got a job finally. It was and electronics jobs are not like software jobs, right? So you have like, they used to hire like 1,000, 20,000, 1 lakh in Satyam, Infosys, TCS. Electronics job will come 5 people, 10%, 15% maximum. So I got to a job which was a company called Celetronics, which was acquired by Jabil Circuits. Jabil Circuits is one of the Fortune 500 company who basically, it's an outsourced manufacturing company. You might have heard about Foxcons and all. It's the Foxcons of the world, right? Okay. So, but Celetronics was a Mumbai-based manufacturing company where we were building Apple that time Macintosh power supplies and Siemens medical equipment power supplies they was to build. So I went there, I did the interview, I got my first engineering job there. The salary was 5,000 rupees that time.
That was your first core job that you landed.
That was my first core job. I was very lucky because we were like 100 people, 200 people, I don't know. Me and my friend both got the job. That was more excitement. And we were just looking, after the interview, we were thinking, what happens if one of us got the job? Because I dragged him along with me. He dragged himself along with me. And we wanted to see both of us landing there. He was from electronics communication branch. Luckily we both got that job. That was the sheer happiness that right? We both got, right? So you might have heard Three Idiots. It's like, friend success doesn't excite you if you are a failure. So so both of us got a job and we started our job in the core electronics field. I started learning, going deeper manufacturing practices. We were how all these things. I was it's not an intern, but it's an early job probation. 5,000 rupees, and I was courageous. Now we said that, oh, we're not living in this shitty place of 900. Let's get a apartment.
Better one.
So we said that we took an apartment where we called 2-3 more friends from our side. We said share, and we got an apartment, 1-bedroom apartment, not a studio apartment basically.
Got it.
For 4 of our friends, we got it in studio apartment, 10,000 rupees. Landlord is a retired army man. We can't go there. We don't look that polished. So I went and talked to the army man. I talked very gently, very calmly, and he said that, oh, this guy looks good, and we're gonna give him the rent, because Mumbai bachelor's rent is very
difficult.
Very
My
difficult.
friends have told that as
Very,
well.
very difficult.
Very difficult to get.
So we got a rent, and we used to get office buses and go. We started cooking and learning cooking. In college also we learned cooking. So
somehow
exactly,
Odia guys know cooking.
Cooking, yeah.
Somehow we know cooking.
It's a therapy. It's a ritual, right? So and then what we did is that from there I started going to office, but I was courageous, right? The first thing that came into my mind that let's buy a music system. Right, that time with my 5,000 salary, I got a music system of 8,500. That was a Philips big boom boxes you might have seen, with cassette recorder and CD discs that time. And we started having fun. We said that, oh, okay, I was like, after buying, I was thinking that how did I commit to an 8,000 rupees device with an 900 rupees EMI with a 5,000 rupees salary. But that's how it was, because the essence of the story is I wanted to achieve something coming from the lower middle class family, and that was the way to hold me up. Like, commit to something bigger and earn 10x more than that. This was my way that I was tuned. That once you get into something, you have to earn it.
So this was how long from your engineering? As in how many years?
This is first year. After I passed out, this was 4 or 5 months after I got into a job.
Okay, so
because all these unstructured jobs I told you, Pune, these, that.
So this is the first job, 5,000. I'm still intrigued. Like, from electronics to Google, right? This is quite a jump. So did you continue with that job in Mumbai for quite a long time?
I was there for a year. I'll tell you a very interesting story how my pivot happened. So within 6 months my internship, I was doing really, really well. I had a manager who was very, very strong. Everybody was fearful. His name is Mujib. If Mujib Rahman is hearing, I am still very, very thankful to him. He was a very tough man. I was be like scared. He will use any language saying, go get this done. What are you, right? So, and then that kind of challenged me to do well, and he recognized me, right? So he said that, oh no, you are very good. And he's, as much strict he was, he kind of started liking me and started investing in me. And that time, when my probation ended, he was one of the person who kind of said that this is the person we want to invest in. My salary was 12,000 in 6 months time.
Wow.
Which was an amazing jump, and it gave me a lot of confidence. But at that time I was doing core electronics job, but we are also improving our back end business systems infrastructure. Like back in the days, the manufacturing companies run their manufacturing software or supply chain softwares in old ERP systems. There were mainframe based legacy systems, blue screens, black screens with blue and green text and all those things, where only keystrokes can be recognized. There was no mouse. So in this case, we basically we're implementing to a modern software, ERP software.
So it was a modernization.
It's a modernization. I was part of it because I understood the manufacturing process and all those things. That is where the pivot happened, where I said that, oh no, I'm not making good money here. All my friends were making a lot of money in softwares. And that time a consulting company came to implement those things.
Basically, you pivoted from electronics completely, looking into their backend. So what was your role with the consulting company then?
Yeah. I'll tell you a little bit about that. So my company chose me to be the super user during that time, because sometimes you implement these business softwares, somebody needs to be deeply involved from the business side. So they asked me to play a part-time business analyst role that time, explaining them that how the manufacturing operations work, how the deep engineering integration happens to the manufacturing software, etc. So that's where the consulting company was brought in to modernize the back-end business system software. Again, I am an achiever. I want always the best thing in my life. Because of that childhood background, that we didn't have enough, we didn't see all luxuries, right? So if you go back to my childhood again, fewer clothes in 2 times a year that will I like. Eating out was a very rare thing, right? Only 1 or 2 festivals that we go eat out. So I wanted to achieve a whole lot in my life, right? We never had a car or anything, right? So in that case, when coming back to the point, when this software company came in, there was the first time I learned something called consultants. So software consultants. So when these software consultants were used to come, they used to spend a lot of time just learning from me. I was draining hours and hours sitting and explaining them how this software is designed, this mainframe based software is designed, how it's integrated to manufacturing systems. That time Microsoft was a very big thing. So Excel Access, I wrote a lot of programs that time to run some of this business software along that goes along with our engineering practices. So they were actually learning all those things from there and bringing a third-party packaged application and configuring that and giving those back to us. And again, I used to test and all, and kind of tell that whether this would work and would replace our existing, fulfill all our needs or not. So that time, I first of all I got a notice that, well, whatever I was doing was 10x more difficult than what this consultant is doing, because I designed all these things in Access or Sheets, Excel, right? So, and the backend mainframe, we used to know a little bit of coding, configuration, etc. But these guys are coming in a packaging application. They're just dealing with data. They're dealing with configurations. This is all ready-made. And the second point that hit when I became a little bit friendly and tried to learn what they were doing, the guy said that, I said, where do you stay? You are not from here. Then the guy said that, no, I'm not from here. I'm traveling here and I stay in Taj. I said, what? You stay in Taj? I just said that, usually how are your comp? And that time he was making 90,000 to 1 lakh per month. I was making 12,000. I wrote all these programs. You are learning from me. You are configuring. You are making 1 lakh. You are staying in Taj, coming in a taxi company paid. Why do I deserve 12,000? Exactly. I want to do that. So this is where I said that I brewed myself that time that I'm going to be a software consultant that time. This is because by that time, 1 year, few months of jobs, I learned that this industry is not going to pay off, because I was constantly looking for jobs, by the way, from day one. Because I was put in Naukri and all the stuff, and I was looking at what is my fate.
So this is where you actually thought of pivoting back to software.
And I was talking to my seniors also, and one of my very good seniors, Sandeep and Rahul, they were very good friends. They played a big role in terms of my career journey in electronics. And that time, I was asking them, we were very close. I was saying, and they were like 28, 29 years old. I was asking them how much money they were making. They were making 35,000 rupees that time. Sorry for disclosing. And I said that, oh, I should make 40,000 when I'm 30 years old. But then I realized, no, that's not good enough. This guy is making 1 lakh. Staying in a Taj. So this is the career that I would not achieve. And there's not fewer jobs in the market. India as an electronics manufacturing was not that great.
Yeah.
Right. So this is where I said that, no, I want to do something in my career which pays.
Awesome. So
which
guys,
grows. Yeah.
This is one pivotal point in your life. So we will end this episode here. The reason why is that this is one pivotal point again in your life, right? Where you actually understood that where the drawbacks have been in electronics and what do you want to do. From here, you would have pivoted to some company, which we don't want to disclose right now. We will talk about it in episode 3. Stay tuned. Next episode is going to be more interesting, right? So we'll come back. And thanks, Tushar, again for your time.
Thanks.